Vivek, I have not seen this yet, but I decided that I wanted to review it with you guys. I don't think that we should be talking about this any more than 10 to 12 minutes. You know, that usually extend over to 15, 16 minutes. But Vivek pulled up to Fox News to talk about what next and his departure from DOGE. Let's get into it, y'all.
Vivek Ramaswamy is a founding member of DOGE and former presidential candidate. So we're hearing you're leaving DOGE after like 3 Scaramucci's. What happened?
Well, the reality is I'm pursuing elected office very shortly. We'll have an announcement soon. But, Jesse, things are off to a great start. I think President Trump has proven, look at the actions that he took in that first week, the most pro-merit president I think we've had in a long time. And as for my vision grounded in constitutional law and the future of the country, I think it's best pursued through elected office. And I'm confident that they're going to succeed in slashing and burning that federal bureaucracy.
People are saying you didn't get along with Musk. What happened there?
I think that's incorrect. But what I would say is we had different and complementary approaches. I focused more on a constitutional law, legislative-based approach. He focused more on a technology approach, which is the future approach. No better person to lead that technology, digital approach than Elon Musk. But when you're talking about a constitutional revival, it's not just done through the federal government. It's done through federalism, where states also lead the way. So I'll have to be saying more on that very shortly, Jesse.
All right,
but that's
so
going to be my
Elon
next
didn't
stop.
fire you.
No, we had a mutual discussion, and I think that I wish him well, and we're on the same page. Where divide and conquer in saving the country. It's not a one-man show from the top down or the bottom up. It's all of the above, and that's what
We had a discussion. Let me rewind that a little bit because Vivek is really smart and he knows how to speak and he knows how to communicate very, very well. And so we got to try to mine it out and read between the lines. And I got to be objective here, guys. I have to be objective here. I cannot, under any circumstance, not be objective and call a spade a spade. So if I think something different than what's being communicated, that's one thing. And I'm just going to say it. I just got to be real. And it's not because I can't say, oh, because I'm a conservative, I got to be, or I'm a Republican, I got to be on one side. We got to call a spade, but I got to look at this closely and I got to pick my words carefully.
Get along with Musk. What happened there?
I think that's incorrect. But what I would say is we had different and complementary approaches. I focused more on a constitutional law, legislative-based approach. He focused more on a technology approach, which is the future approach. No better person to lead that technology, digital approach than Elon Musk. But when you're talking about a constitutional revival, it's not just done through the federal government. It's done through federalism, where states also lead the way. So I'll have to be saying more on that very shortly, Jesse.
All right,
but that's
so
going to be my
Elon
next
didn't
stop.
fire you.
No, we had a mutual discussion, and I think that I wish him well, and we're on the same page. Where divide and conquer in saving the country. It's not a one-man show from the top down or the bottom up. It's all of the above, and that's what
Let me tell you the honest to God truth. I don't think that Vivek ever wanted to be a part of DOGE in the first place. I believe that Vivek wanted a more significant, and I haven't talked to anybody about this. Nobody has spoken about this. This is just my own personal opinion, speaking objectively about what is going on. I believe that Vivek is the odd man out. He's the one person, because Elon Musk is not interested in being a cabinet member. Elon Musk is interested in shaping what happens here in America because he believes that we are falling behind, and he has international relationships and international businesses that then can see the lens from a global view, and he knows what happens in America and that we actually need to be running the federal government more efficiently, similar to how we run companies, which is where DOGE came from. Think about it for a second. DOGE, D-O-G-E, DOGE is literally the name of his coin. The Department of Government Efficiency. Do you think for one second that I'm supposed to believe that Vivek Ramaswamy, who is a self-made man in his own right, signed on and was like, you know what, let's name it Doge, like the Doge coin, right? I believe that Vivek Ramaswamy, especially considering all of the work that he did during this administration, during this campaign season, especially considering how great his debate performances was, all of the street interviews, right? He was the one that was the star. He was the breakout star of the Republican Party when everybody was trying to debate over Ron DeSantis and all of this stuff. He outshined everybody. And I believe that Vivek Ramaswamy actually wanted a more significant position that would then allow for him to position himself better in his political future. But just being a co-chair or a co-holder or a co-founder or co-something of the Department of Government Efficiency, in which Elon Musk was the one that's getting all of the visibility for it. And I believe, and this is the honest to God truth, I just got to call it like I see it. I believe that they had some fundamental differences in how they go about managing and doing things and partnering from a business philosophy. You don't understand how alphas work. And although some people will probably think that Vivek is not an alpha, he very much is a self-made man and an alpha. And when you have that type of thing, it's very difficult for you to merge those personalities into one company. You can have partnerships to where, hey, Apple is partnering with Samsung in order to make their lenses for their cameras or their, screens for their phones. But you can't have a lot of times an all-star game. You can't have all-stars playing on the same. I mean, even if you look at it from a sports lens, it wasn't until Dwayne Wade said that I'm going to take a step back and let LeBron James lead. Chris Bosh on the Miami Heat, when they were the Heatles, right? When LeBron and Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade all played for the Miami Heat and they lost that first year, it wasn't that they weren't the most talented team in the league. It was because you had too many Chiefs and not enough captains, not enough capos, not enough followers, not enough lieutenants. And so everybody had to play their role. Kevin Love on the Cavaliers. Kevin Love had just came off of one of the most spectacular seasons in the Timberwolves organization from Minnesota. He was largely regarded as one of the best big men in the league. And then some would say that he became a shell of himself in order to try to win a championship because he had to play third behind Kyrie Irving and LeBron James on the Cavaliers. Similar to what happened to Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade on the Miami Heat. Chris Bosh was basically a shell of himself when he was a superstar when he was playing for Toronto. But in order for that team to be able to succeed, somebody had to play the back role. I don't think that Vivek ever wanted to play the back role, and so I think that he was plotting his exit while still being a good Republican and for the Trump administration, because you never turn your back on the people that's really getting you there, on the visibility, because you still need a team in order to be significant. And I think that he was plotting where he could have an impact, and considering that there was going to be a vacancy because of term limits in Ohio in the government position, that's where he see himself being successful. Now, I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong. This is my opinion. This is not definitive what anybody is saying, and I don't have any inside information. But just looking at what's being communicated in the outside in, to say that we had differences of opinion, but then I left because we need to approach this from two different lenses, me from a constitutional perspective and him from a technology perspective. Come on, man. Come on, bro. You can't finesse me. And I think that he would be a great governor. I think that he would be a great governor. I think that he would be a great vice president and president. I just don't think that it's his time. I don't think when they were looking for a position for Vivek, I don't think that he ever said that, yeah, I want to be a co-chair for the Department of Government Efficiency. I think he wanted to be a cabinet member. I believe that he wanted to be a cabinet member. Let's hear the rest of the interview.
When you hear people say that these workers are going to get margs during work hours, what goes through your mind? I mean, how do you doge those people out of there?
What goes through my mind is I'm not surprised. I mean, the fact is you've got 4 million federal bureaucrats, none of whom were elected to those positions in the first place. And the dirty little secret is the people we elect to run the government, until this last November, the people we elected to run the government were not actually running the government. That changed when Donald Trump took office at inauguration. You have a U.S. president that is actually running the show again. Look at that sweeping slate of executive orders. Look at fixing the immigration crisis. You had 4 years of illegal immigrants flowing across that southern border. In a matter of 1 week, we're now well on our way to sealing that southern border, ending these DEI programs, restoring merit.
Listen. I ain't even listening to none of this stuff. Listen to what he's saying. Listen to how he communicates. Vivek is one of those guys that often at times is the smartest guy in the room. But I will also tell you that the smartest guy in the room is not always a CEO. He's not always the person that's sitting at the head of the table. Vivek is an A student, an A+ student. Ain't nowhere in the world you're going to mistake him for a B or a C student at all. Vivek, I guarantee you that it is normal for him to be the smartest guy in almost any room that he's in, but it doesn't mean he's the top dog. And that is a hard place for a person to exist. It is a difficult space for a person to exist. They are the most conflicted because they know what they know, but it's not always about that when it comes to being the most successful in the room. Sometimes it's marketing. Sometimes it's the way you carry yourself. Sometimes it's stage presence. Listen, if Vivek wind up becoming governor of Ohio, it's not going to be because he's the smartest. It's not going to be because, and this is whoever's running this campaign, let me give you a piece of advice that you may not be interested in, that is a piece of unsolicited advice. If Vivek wins governor of Ohio, it's not because the people are going to look at him and say, you smart. That's not why elections are won. That's not what sways voters to get to the poll and elect you. You are going to have a completely different marketing strategy. Call me, email me, AntonDaniels413@gmail.com. We can get him in office. Call me. I'm offering my consulting services. I am telling you right now, it is not going to be because he is the smartest and he talked the fastest. Vivek, to resonate with the American people, and he is a very popular person, but the people in Ohio is different. That's a Midwest state. He gonna have to slow his words down. He gonna have to communicate more clear. Listen, to better communicate this to you guys, it's like Twista, right? The rapper from Chicago. When Twista first came out, he's talking real fast. It was impressive, but it wasn't going to sell records. It wasn't until they slowed him down. Now let me play with your emotions, ho, to the rhythm of a hi-hat. Take a live black. Let me stimulate your mind, body, and soul. I know you want to try that. Now, can you buy that? Well, you'll ride at. And they ain't got to tell that many lies. Peanut butter complex and some pretty ass. Pretty thighs, I'm about to be tight. Your anatomy got to be right. Got to be the flattery type. But let me give it the bone. Click, that'll be right. I know you want to try that. To the rhythm of a hi-hat. Like when he started talking and slowing it down, and he got with Kanye, right? And he started doing it was different. Now you can sell some records. Now people can say sometimes when Jay-Z first came out. He was a super fast rapper. Ain't nobody want to hear that. Nobody wanted to hear that. When he started talking a little bit slower, he started to enunciate his words. He started to resonate with people. He put on a suit, reasonable doubt. He started talking to the people. Stage presence change. Anybody that's ever seen, I'm of a certain age. So I remember I actually went and seen Jay-Z perform when he was on Puff's tour, right? And he wasn't hitting like he was today. Jay today, what he's morphed into, how he started to get comfortable in his own skin is different than the Jay that was on the No Way Out tour. It was a different Jay. And it's the same thing in politics. It's the same thing in business. It's the same thing. When you become a CEO, when you become in politics, you become a salesperson more than you are an intellectual. Intellectual don't get votes. So they're going to have to rebrand him a little bit, not change who he is, But in order for him to resonate with the American people, for him to really get to where he want to be, and he's done some impressive things, I'm not taking anything away from him, Vivek has to be different. He has to be different. He got to market himself completely different. Might even have to get some extra hair right here. Some get his colics fixed and all of that stuff. He got to be different. He might have to put on a little weight. It hit different. I'm telling you, he might have to do something a little bit different.
That's our American character that we miss, Jesse. And the beautiful part about this is these were man-made problems. We got a man-made solution. Now we just got to execute.
Is DEI dead? Because Al Sharpton, he's still in the trenches.
Well, the funny thing about DEI, we use this word. Ironically, it doesn't even stand for its own principles. In the name of diversity, what happened is we sacrificed true diversity of thought. And in the name of inclusion, we've created this new culture of exclusion where certain points of view just weren't welcome. That's un-American. It was neither diverse nor inclusive. And DEI and merit, you got to pick one. You can't have both. Either group quotas or meritocracy. There's no middle ground. And I think one of the things not just the Republican Party stands for, but you could see vast swaths of the American.
Can't use meritocracy. Study Trump. Study Trump. Because see, most of the people that he's talking to, they don't even know what meritocracy means. Most people they don't have a clue. What is meritocracy? Without looking it up, what is meritocracy? Anything that you got to use your context clues for, you got to talk like a child. You have to speak to people like you are speaking to a child. Everybody needs to understand it. It's not about being the smartest in the room. It's about having impact. And if you study Trump, he ain't using no big words. He gonna emphasize it 2 or 3 times. He's gonna look at the people. He's gonna throw a joke in there. Yeah, because they told me that I can't call these girls cute because I'm gonna get in trouble, but I'm gonna call them cute anyway. He has personality. He has sway. He has swag. He know how to kick it with people. That is the thing that's gonna resonate with the people. It's not just about being the most intelligent in the room. He got a lot. Honestly, this is just my personal opinion, but I think that Vivek could be great. I think that he gotta do it a little bit different though.
American population stands for is that we stand for merit over group quotas. That's the American way, and I think that that's what made this country great.
What's happened to the Democrat Party?
They're lost. They're lost in the wilderness. Speaking as an American, I am rooting for a better version of that Democratic Party to reemerge from those ashes.
We are.
Because I think it'll make our country better off to have actual competition.
Yeah.
Right now, they're lost in the wilderness. They bent the knee to the woke left, far left wing, forgetting about the wing that focused on economic inequality. That used to be the focus of the left. They switched to all of this racial, gender, sexuality nonsense. I think they're going to have to figure out their part. That's not my job to figure out. But I think for the Republican Party, having won, I think now is take that mandate and restore the country that we know with free speech, with merit, the pursuit of excellence. We're not victims. We're done with this victimhood culture of the last decade or 2 in this country. We're not victims. We're victors. We're winners. We don't whine. We win. That's the culture that Donald Trump is leading from the top. And I think that whether it's bottom up from the states or top down from the White House, that's what we want to see in this country.
Is the media winning because Acosta's being sent to the midnight shift and Maddow has a pay cut that she has to take? What's going on?
I think the market works. That's a short answer. As long as you let the free market work and people are able to make their choices, I think you're seeing people opt out of a lot of that media indoctrination. People in this country, they're not dumb. They understand. You lie to me once, okay, maybe that was a mistake. You lie to me repeatedly, I'm cutting off that cord. And so what you're seeing is a migration of people saying that if you lied to me before, I'm no longer trusting you with that. Part of that came from the federal government. Keep in mind, we still have a federal government that, look, recently, now is finally admitting COVID started in a lab in China.
Yep.
We all knew this years ago, and yet only now.
See, he got to change his words. You can't say, you lie to me repeatedly. You can't do none of that. You finesse me once. All right, I see you. You're not going to get me again. No way. No way. We not playing that game. Like he got to I don't know if he's good enough to rebrand and dumb himself down to meet people where they are, cuz he's too smart. He's just too smart.